finish up this portion of the show talking to Kevin in Florida. Good morning, Kev. What's up?
Yes, sir, Curt. We need to give deep state a symbol. And today I read where Larry Harvey had a stroke. He's the founder of Burning Man. So, the Burning Man should be deep state's, symbol in our media. They're on their way. This gun grab, Curt.
I want to ask you, Kevin. You said something to. I remember you've had your firearms confiscated more than once.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Well, let's see. This is a book just in itself, Curt. But I was moving the one time where I lost 3 Desert Eagle 44 magnums, really nice guns, and I before I went to Glock, I was a PT 92 guy because it was a cheap Beretta and it was reliable. It's a Taurus gun from years ago, and they were like $236 brand new,
Right.
And it was a good gun. But, my eyes got bad as the sights went. And sure enough, when I went to Birmingham, I won't go into the details of it, but I was moving. And they determined that they did not like my handguns, although they were my property and I had tools and, clothing and whatnot, all work-related and not work-related, everything I owned, because I was going to leave my wife. And so they took, I went to court and they said that I was crossed state lines without a permit, that the guns weren't permitted.
Huh.
And, to make a long story short, Kirk, it was a $38,000 cash bond. So for 2 years, they held on to $38,000 cash. And I could have lost that at any moment.
How did they find out you had the guns, first off?
I went to Our Lady of Angels Monastery in Irondale, Alabama, and I had contributed to Eternal Word Television Network for a few years. And I wouldn't say I was a major donor, but I was reliable. And when I went in there, the abortion clinic bombing had been done before I went there. That was probably a false flag anyway, Curt, but right. We can go into that later. And so the guards that were guarding the monastery there, this is before they built their cathedral, in Hanceville, which is on the same parallel almost as Bethlehem, which is on the same parallel as the Georgia Guidestone.
Right.
And it's about the same parallel to Itabena where they crashed those Marines. So take a look at that right there. But anyway, Curt, hang in there.
Yeah.
They said that Eric Rudolph was in the monastery, and they actually came in the church. I wasn't married Catholic, and I hadn't said communion or confession or had communion for many years. And it was the first time I had communion. My first inclination was to run out of the church when I heard the radios crackling outside.
Yeah, well, and again, you said
and
something.
They came in and got me.
Yeah, 5 times you've had your firearms confiscated. And knowing you,
in Goldfield, out in Goldfield, Nevada, and when I gave it back, when they gave it back to me, after some time and everything, those guys said, Kevin, they said, why don't you take these gun locks out of here? The government gives them to us. Nobody around here wants them. Just take them out of here for us.
Yeah.
They were afraid to throw them away in Goldfield, Nevada, as if somebody would come there and find it. That place in the middle of nowhere, Curt.
Yeah, that's...
This is the insanity. But
I got to tell you...
I needed to make a couple points. Please. The gun grab's connected to the law enforcement overreach of Mueller and Rosenstein.
Yep.
And that's the thing. They're coming for the guns because they know that they're building this to the point where they're going to try to move on us.
Yeah, that's, I think that's the ultimate concern, the fear that we could be dealing with something that grows into a nationwide thing. You're seeing, I'm hearing today that there's some other towns in Illinois that are following Deerfield's lead. And there are, I can think of a couple states where that stuff will go like wildfire if it catches on. And, I wonder how, If somebody like you can get away from get your guns confiscated 4 or 5 times and you're still here, then there is the ability to act restrained under those situations. I don't know. I'm very concerned about the fact that we're watching a left that continues to refuse to admit that taking our guns is exactly what the left is up to. We're watching it. It's happening. It's not. We're not debating it. It's not opinion. Laws are being created that will allow our law enforcement, without due process, to enter your home and take your firearms. And that's to me that's the line being stepping over the line. I think that's where we have to make I think our decisions. Are we going to stand up or I mean, what are we going to do? So. I worry, and I appreciate the call, Kevin. Always a pleasure to catch up. I mean, guys, this is we've been again 2 years. We've been talking about this. The left keeps saying, "Oh, they don't want to take your guns. They don't want to take your guns," and they're creating laws that actually are centered on taking your guns. That is, it's happening, and I don't want to belabor the point, but the fact of the matter is, everything they say they don't. They do, and everything they say they do, they don't, and they clearly aren't people that are aware of not just national but international history, global history. We can't listen. This country will not operate with constitutional rights if you remove our Second Amendment right, and if you don't think and the Democrats have said it, they just want to kick in the door. They want to get into. They want to get in, and once they get in, they'll wreak havoc. And I keep saying to people, there's no doubt in my mind, if you put legislation on the table in D.C. To remove our Second Amendment, every single Democrat and many Republicans would sign it. And we've been listening for. And again, if you're new to the NRA. This is one of the I'm saying 2 years for the show's history, but if you're new to the NRA, this is why the NRA exists, to take up the legal fight that in defense of the Second Amendment. We've already seen lawsuits filed in Illinois, but this needs to get in front of, to me, in my opinion, the Supreme Court, because I want a federal ruling that stops states from infringing on my rights. I'm getting the feeling, it feels to me as if some of our rights have physical boundaries, which they do, by the way, which makes no sense to me. In all of this, to me, the thing that's lost is we're not going to get national reciprocity. 2 years ago, we were expecting that to be one of the first things that flew through. Trump had talked about it. Now it's going to be so far down the itinerary. It's disappointing. But the NRA is growing by leaps and bounds every single day. And the idiocy of people that talk about the NRA and gun manufacturers is just stupid. They don't understand. The NRA is made up of 7 million law-abiding citizens that have nothing to do with gun manufacturers. The NRA exists to defend the Second Amendment, not to promote sale of firearms. That's just stupid. And there's nothing to back that up other than opinion. And the opinion is wrong. So. Anyway, 877-240-1776. We're going to end this part. We're going to go to a break, and on the other side...